Hey, we're back with another CannaTech podcast, and I am with BriAnne Ramsay of Rocky Mountain Cannabis Consulting. I'm assuming you're in Denver, Colorado with a name like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Out of Denver, but originally from Columbus, Ohio.
Wow, well, you're not in Ohio anymore, that's for sure.
Right? Wild, Wild West.
Yeah. So you hold yourself out with Rocky Mountain Cannabis Consulting, the all-in-one consulting for obtaining, building, and scaling compliant cannabis businesses. Let me turn it over to you. What's your story?
Yeah, I originally got started in the cannabis industry back in 2014. I moved from the Midwest into Denver, Colorado, specifically to get started in the adult use market when we launched in January of 2014, and just started my way into an entry level position. And then within about 3.5 years, I was overseeing 20 different licenses for a vertically integrated company here in Colorado. And I oversaw inventory and compliance, and I also oversaw the auditing department. And I was with them 3.5 years, and then I went on to FlowHub, a cannabis point of sale company, where I was their compliance officer for a year. And it was a really great experience. I got to see the industry at high level. And when I was there, I realized that there was this gap between compliance, operations, and technology. And how do all of those three things impact one another? And so I started RMCC as a side hustle. Technically, I was actually still working for FlowHub during that time. And I ended up getting a pretty large diversion case come across my lap. So the state of Colorado went into my client's operation, shut them down for 90 days,
Oh,
and
wow.
accused them of diverting legal cannabis into the traditional market. And they hired me as the expert auditor to come in and to validate, did they actually divert close to 450 pounds? And what I was able to find was, in reality, it was actually one employee that was making data entry mistakes. And it was this one behavior that happened that ultimately cost this business millions of dollars, because they had to get millions of dollars injected back in, and they were the largest wholesaler at that time in Colorado. And through that experience, I realized, I'm like, RMCC doesn't have to be a side hustle. This could be a full
Oh,
gig.
yeah.
And so January 2018, I launched the company full time. And so in addition to helping on the auditing side, I also help Cannabis Technology Solutions with their API integration into the state system Metric. As we know, Metric sometimes isn't so user-friendly. Their documentation can be challenging to read. And so I interpret the API documentation and what that means to the user interface, the user experience, and then also the regulatory framework across the different metric states.
Yeah, so you're a geek as well. Wow.
Yes.
A lawyer and a geek. There's a lawyer and a geek walk into a bar in Boulder, Colorado, right? There's gotta be a joke here somewhere. I'm not gonna find
Right.
the no, but I'm just looking. So you're advanced metrics certified. So, coming from the traditional Microsoft world, first career, certifications were everything in my past life, right? Your Cisco, your Microsoft. We don't see that as much in the cannabis field yet, and it could be a maturity thing. What is an advanced metric certification?
Great question. So I actually got that certification back in probably 2015, 2016. And during that time, that advanced certification is just an online training course, and you
Okay,
take a little quiz at the end.
fair enough.
Um, with that being said, I actually developed my own certification within RMCC, where it's RMCC certified. And so I take that framework from you using Metric, the technology, building out SOPs and playbooks, and also building out a train the trainer program. And so our students that pass the RMCC skills application exam become RMCC certified, which is really great for consultants, because any projects we can't take on, I then hand off those projects to RMCC certified students.
Well, and I'd make a plug for the audience, and I'm the worst, is all of these Microsoft certifications in the wall behind me. I have, my career was essentially a consultant or an entrepreneur, and in that game you pile it on, right? It's like, I'm certified in SQL Server, Windows, this, that. You just pile it on in that professional field versus other lines of work. It may not make sense to take all that time. It's not so much money with the Microsoft certs. It's time.
Yeah, absolutely. And none of us have enough time. And it always feels like we're putting out fires every day in the cannabis
Yeah.
industry. So
Yeah, and most of those, and I'll end on this, and I have one more question, but most of those are expired. They go back to my first career, right? Windows Server, which really doesn't exist anymore because it's 365 and Azure. But I leave them up because it's eye candy. And folks, I'm being a little facetious, but if you're a professional in this field, you have to have street cred. I mean, you got to play the hand you're dealt, man.
yeah, absolutely.
So final question. I was briefing you before we started podcasting on South by Southwest 2022 is excellent. I will always go to that. Where might we see you in the next several months, all things being equal that the industry has trade shows, MJ Impact on the East Coast, where might we see you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I always love to go to MJ Biz in Vegas. I feel like that's where a lot of the decision makers are going. Some of my other favorite conventions are, it's not exactly a convention, is Emerald Cup. So if you're familiar with Emerald Cup at all, they're out in Northern California. Actually, they're having their event down in LA to give a little bit more access to people down in Southern California. But I really love Emerald Cup so much because they focus on the small sun-grown farms up in Northern California. And it's essentially kind of like a High Times Cup, but more for sun-grown cannabis. And because I have helped so many farms up north and I have so many friends that go there, that is one of my absolute favorites to go to. So outside of that, outside of conventions and things like that, I plan on heading out to New Jersey, working with some clients out there. Just submitted some applications for some retail clients last week. So I'm really excited to see the East Coast open up.
All right. Well, we're going to stay in touch. But, welcome to the logo chart. Thanks for being a strategic logo in our field. And BriAnne, continued success.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right.